Okay, this is the OPR quarter window molding cover for 1987 to 1993 hatchback Foxbody Mustangs, and I'm going to show you how to paint these to properly match the factory trim and install them. So the first thing I like to do is just go ahead and clean the plastic off. I usually just use glass cleaner, any kind of soap and water, wax and grease remover, something like that. It'll work just fine. So go ahead and do that. Okay, so you're going to need a gray Scotch-Brite of some kind. I usually use 3M. Here's the part number information. And then you're going to go ahead and just take your Scotch-Brite scuff pad and just go ahead and scuff it down really quick. And then we'll start the painting process. Okay, so if you did the scuff process right, it should look pretty roughed up, like this. So after it's scuffed, go ahead and give it a nice clean again. Again, I'm just going to use glass cleaner because it's easy, quick. That's what I have with me right now. Ideally, you probably want to use a tack rag, but it's not that big of a deal. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and throw some paint on it. The paint that I would recommend using is the, there we go, the SEM brand trim black. Here's the part number. This stuff's great. It's really forgiving, so you don't really have to worry about it too much. Alright, I'm going to try to paint this and hold the camera at the same time. But go ahead and just, get a pretty good shake up. Couple seconds, make sure the paint's good. If you want to give it like a little, test pattern, make sure it's coming out evenly. That's fine. When you go ahead and put this on here, you want to stay, I don't know, I'd say 6 to 8 inches away, maybe. That way it kind of flows out a little more evenly down the trim and blends in better. You want to start off with a few light coats. We'll just do one and then let it dry for a minute, and then I'll go from there. So here we go. Alright, we'll let that dry for a minute. Okay, once it's dry, it should look something like this. And here's a side-by-side as a comparison. So this is obviously unpainted, and this is with a few light coats there. I want mine to be a little more texturized looking. So I think if you can see, it's hard to see on camera, but kind of a weird, I don't know, plasticky looking texture to me, if that makes any sense. So what I like to do is take your gray Scotch-Brite again, and go over the first coat or so that you just did and rough it up. And I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. Okay, so I just scuffed it up again. Kind of see like some light scratches in the paint, which is kind of what we're looking for. And you see it looks a little bit better there. The real reason I'm doing this is because When you put the paint down, it looks fine, but the factory moldings actually are rubberized material, so that's kind of what I'm actually going for, is to look as factory as possible. So yeah, just go ahead and scuff it up as much as you can, and then we're going to put another coat on and see how that turns out. Okay, also I forgot to mention, go ahead and after you scuffed it, give it a good wipe down all the way around. Again, I just used glass cleaner, paper towels, cleaned it off, no big deal. You should be using a tack rag ideally, but not a big deal. So yeah, let's go ahead and give it another couple coats here. Okay, and I guess we'll go ahead and let that dry. Okay, well, once it's dry, it looks something like so. It's got the texture that I'm looking for. You can see the, before and the after. This is really shiny and just kind of slick, bare looking, and this has more of a factory finish. You can keep going with more coats. You can scuff it down with the Scotch-Brite more to get the texture that you're looking for. It's totally up to you, but yeah, that's what it looks like for mine. And I guess I'm gonna go ahead and flip these over and get them ready to put on the car. Okay, so I decided to test fit this before I put any adhesive on it. Just use a little bit of masking tape, and I think it's not bad. Pretty seamless, pretty good fitment for just a cover. But yeah, as you can see, so you can see it here. The texture is pretty good, matches pretty well with the factory. And anyway, alright, we'll pull it back off and put the adhesive on it. Okay, so now that it's flipped over, let's see, I noticed there's a few little, like, I don't know, there were like some imperfections maybe down in here in the corners from the mold. Little here that weren't quite flat, I guess you could say, kind of little edges sticking up. So I just kind of took a razor blade to it and cut them down. It's just plastic, on the edges. You can use sandpaper, something, just cuts the little nibs off and makes it a little bit easier to put on. Makes it a little more flush, I'm sure, after the install is done. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and use 3M double-sided tape, 1/2 inch. A lot of people use window weld, 3M window weld, which would be for putting in windows, but I wanted to do this, make it to where it's a little less messy, and if later on down the road I want to take it off, I can just peel the tape back off. But it should hold just fine. I'm going to go ahead and throw down 2 layers side by side, down all the way around, and yeah, we'll go from there. I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, this is more or less what it should look like with the tape on it. This is what it looks like, by the way. You can cut it with a razor blade. But yeah, just kind of get it on there the best you can. make sure it's fairly, I guess, even. Yeah, we'll go ahead and try to put it on. Just as a tip, to get the red backing part off of the tape, sometimes it's easier to just start on a corner with your razor blade and kind of just lift from there, and it should peel right up. I like to start the tape usually from the top down and get about probably halfway through, leave some of the red backing hanging to the side. That way when I go to set it up against the window or the panel, it'll kind of give me some wiggle room to move around. And then once you kind of have it set where you want it, then you can slowly start in your areas that are where the adhesive is already out, and then just like slowly pull down the panel. It'll make more sense once you go to do it, but hope that helps. Okay, this is kind of what I meant by you just kind of set it up in your corner here, and then pull your red backing down as you go, and then press on the panel. It'll kind of be a little easier to go around the edges. Okay, once you kind of have it where you want it set, just kind of go around the edges and put pressure all the way around. And not bad. Not too bad. Okay, so I had an issue with the top here wanting to come back up with the 3M two-sided tape. So what I did was I kind of pulled the area back that was sticking out just a little bit, and put some of this on there. This is what I have left. But basically this is butyl. It's really sticky, but it's actually what they originally used to put the entire glass in and keep it from leaking water. Yeah, that's what I would do if you have any issues with it coming up. Just be really careful, only put a small amount. Maybe just I'll pull like a little bit up, because you can see it's really sticky, and it doesn't come off very well. So yeah, just a little bit, maybe just a small little dab or whatever, and just put it in whatever area. If your corners or anything like that kind of want to come up, it's good down here. But yeah, just kind of peel it back just a hair and stick that in there, and it'll be good to go. All right, thanks guys. So I forgot to show what mine looked like beforehand, but I'll go ahead and show you the other side. They're not bad. I blacked them out a long time ago, but you can see, the edges are they're just torn up and kind of a chipped looking. You can see here's the difference between new and obviously the old here. So yeah, they definitely made a big difference, and like I said, way cheaper than buying an entire new glass, and you're still able to keep your factory Mustang deal on there, which you can't get anymore. So all right, hope that helps.